Okay, thank you. Okay, so let me start with what we discussed yesterday, and then we'll proceed to our next topic. So I think yesterday we stopped at this particular slide, and we discussed that in terms of simplified data model, SAP SD also has some of the changes at the table level, and we discussed that the status tables like VBUK, VBUP, these are the tables which we are using which we're storing the status information of the sales order throughout the life cycle. Like as soon as the sales order is created till the time billing and all is completed, whenever you want any kind of status information, instead of directly going to the main tables like sales order, delivery and billing table, you can go to these two tables and find all the relevant status information. Now, we discussed that in SAP S4HANA, this VBUK and VBUP, they are not going to be updated anymore. And whatever was the content available or whatever were the fields, I think yesterday we discussed around 81 fields which were available in this VBUK table, they are now moved from VBUK to corresponding main tables. So some of the fields which were relevant to order, they are in order table. Some of the fields relevant to delivery moved to delivery tables, and some of the other fields which are relevant to billing, they are now available in the billing table. In terms of reporting, if you already used these tables in your reports, no need to worry, because I shown you yesterday that whenever you go to this table and see the runtime object, it is automatically redirecting to a particular view, and view is again redirecting ultimately to the main table, that is VBAK. Okay, so whatever information you were able to get till now, same information it will still provide you. Only thing is, instead of holding the information and consuming the memory, now there will be no memory consumption. The data will be stored only at the main tables. Okay, and the third point that we discussed yesterday, that is elimination of redundancies, which means there are some tables in SAP which are just holding the subset of the main tables. So for example, if I have 100 columns in my sales order table, now out of that 100 columns, normally I perform the report only for, let's say, 5 columns. So every time for performing the reporting, if I scan 100 columns, it will take time. So in order to improve the performance in SAP ECC, SAP has created some index tables. So VAKPA, for example, is an index table which will only include those 5 columns, so that now whenever you want to perform the reporting, instead of directly going to the main VBAK or VBAP table, go to these tables and get the information. But again, it has resulted into the repetition of data. So whatever data is already available in 100 columns, that 5 columns you are again consuming that much memory. And this is not only for one table, there are a lot of such tables. So now the concept of aggregates and indexes has been removed. When you think about SAP S4HANA data model, these are the two things which try to remove at every area in SAP. So wherever they found that there are some aggregates, totals, which are getting stored, I give you the example of MARC, where not only the whatever transactions you do, they are getting captured, but also at every time when you do the transaction, calculation is getting performed in the background and the unrestricted quantity is getting saved. So that is something called as aggregates. So there are no aggregates in SAP S4HANA, and there are no indexes. So this is the example of index table. Index table means which is the subset of the main information, that is also no more required, because for aggregations as well as indexes, now whenever you perform any kind of report, it will directly fetch the data from main tables. Okay, that is the whole idea of simplifying this data model. What we are achieving from this, less data footprint, okay, column-based data storage, which is allowing us the compression, and the speed at which we are getting the data is fast, because less the memory occupied in your main memory, it will provide you faster results. It is very common. Even in your mobile device, if you have 16 GB of let's say memory, and if only 2 GB is consumed, remaining 14 GB is blank. Whenever you ask anything from your mobile, like if you want to run a simple task, it will be faster. But out of 16 GB, if you already occupied 14 GB, it will be a little bit slower. This is very common, even in your computer, laptop, anywhere you go. So less the data footprint, faster is the processing of the system. That is the whole idea here. Okay, these are not the only tables. Yesterday we discussed about this. Let me go to the next slide now. There is something called as simplified pricing. SAP is saying, okay, we have simplified the pricing in SAP S4HANA. What does this mean? What is mean by simplified pricing? So in simplified pricing, there are two things which you need to know. One is the database architecture level again. So in ECC, whenever you create a purchase order or a sales order, what happens is whatever pricing conditions are available in your purchase order and sales order, they get stored in table KONV. So KONV is a main table which holds all the pricing conditions in ECC. Now, this KONV is a cluster table. Okay, I told you maybe not to go into that much of technicality, but just to understand that cluster tables are the slowest tables, and transparent tables are something which is the target of SAP S4HANA to convert most of the cluster tables into transparent tables. So KONV being the cluster table, it has its limitation in processing the records. Okay, I'm not saying it was taking hours or minutes. I'm saying even if it was taking 1 second, there was a possibility that it can be made as 10 times faster. That is the reason, instead of converting KONV from cluster to transparent, SAP has not touched KONV. KONV is available as it is, but if you go and execute KONV at any point of time, this table will give you blank results. Okay, so data is not going to be stored in KONV. KONV is still available, but the reason it is still available is just to perform the declaration. Okay, so as you know, when from the technical point of view, when you create any table, there are multiple tasks. It is not only storing the data. Okay, it can be used for declaring your database objects. It can be used for storing it can be used for processing. Okay, so KONV is still available from the declaration point of view, but otherwise it is not going to hold any kind of data. So the question is, if KONV is not going to hold, which table will hold? Okay, is there any new table available in SAP S4HANA for pricing conditions? Yes, the answer is there is a new table called as PRCD_elements. This PRCD_elements is going to replace KONV. So now when we already created some purchase orders in the system, let me take you to the system first. Okay, can you see the system?
Yes, Gaurav, I can see.
Okay. Okay, so if I go to table KONV, see this table is still available, but you see the description. It is in condition description, but in the bracket you can see this is obsolete and this has been replaced with PRCD_elements. So at any point of time, if you execute this, there will be no values. Okay, so this is not going to update any transactions in KONV. So whatever purchase orders, sales orders we are going to create in case of new implementations, they will directly go and get stored in this new table. Okay, so if I execute this, you can see it is same, even the number of columns, the data which is available in this table, everything is same. Only thing is, technically, some of the columns have been extended. So for example, if they were holding 10 characters till now they will hold 15 characters, or some of the fields which are only holding 2 or 3 characters now will hold 5 characters. But that is something only from the technical standpoint. But otherwise, as a functional consultant, if I am responsible for creation of report, and normally I go to table KONV, if I'm not able to find, so this is a place where you need to go. A very important thing to note here, when we talked about VBUK, VBUP, we discussed that VBUK, VBUP, they are no more going to be updated, but you don't need to worry about from the reporting point of view, right? I told you from reporting point of view, you don't need to worry, because if we go to the, let me show you the difference. So in terms of VBUK, we should be in SE11. Okay, in terms of VBUK, yesterday I shown you, if you go to this runtime object and click on display, it will tell you where the data is coming from. Okay, sorry, not this. What we seen yesterday, which table? Just 1 minute, let me recollect what we discussed yesterday. I think do you remember which table I shown you yesterday, which was VBAK? No, VBAK cannot. VBAK is a main table. Yeah, I got it. VAKPA, index tables. I talked about index tables. So if I click on display and go to utilities, runtime object, display, yeah, you can see the physical table is something else. Okay, so what we discussed was VAKPA will call this physical table will ultimately call the main table VBAK. So even if there is no data, it will get redirected and you will get the information. But in case of this table, KONV, you can, if I show you here, KONV display, okay, utilities and runtime object display, you can see there is no physical table available. Okay, so which means this is not automatically redirecting. So whenever you ask any information from KONV, it will not automatically get redirected to the physical table, which means if you execute a report, you will definitely get an error that there is no data in KONV. So what does this mean? This means that whatever we are talking about, CDS views, HANA views, okay, so they are applicable at some point of times, but there are still some tables which are not automatically converted into views. Okay, so this is one example. KONV is still not automatically redirecting to table PRCD underscore elements, which means if you have written some codes, the custom codes, forget about the standard codes. Standard codes are automatically redirected. Okay, you don't need to worry about any standard report. But if you are talking about the custom code in which you have specified that I want the information to come from table KONV, that is definitely going to be error. Like it is not going to show you any data. So what is the solution? SAP has provided a solution, which means from the technical point of view, they have provided what steps needs to be done. If you are reading the document, what code should be replaced by what code, that is something I don't have that document now. Okay, but it is totally technical document. I hope Krishna must have already shared that document with you. It is pricing cookbook. The name of the document is pricing cookbook. If it is not shared, I'll ask Krishna to share it. Okay, but you will not be able to understand anything in that. It is completely technical. What you need to understand is, in your projects, it may be possible that in some custom codes, KONV table is being used. So what you need to do, you just need to provide this document to your technical consultant to explain him this is what SAP is recommending to make sure that whatever data we are getting from KONV, how it has to come from PRCD underscore elements. It is not a straightforward document. Like it is not like wherever there is select star from KONV, you change it to select star from PRCD underscore elements. It is not like that. They provided some other logic which is according to them is easier, okay, which is faster to get the information. You can always replace KONV with PRCD underscore elements. That is also not a problem. But they are recommending something else that is they provided in that document. Okay, so that one thing you need to note here, that almost in all the cases SAP, wherever they deleted the table, they have provided the CDS views which will automatically redirect and give you the information. But there are still some places, one of this example is KONV, where there is no corresponding CDS view available. That is the reason this code has to be adjusted manually. Okay, system will not do this. Again, a big question now. So how will I know whether my customer is having any code which is getting the data from KONV? Am I going to check each and every code manually? Again, you must be having the answer. Custom code analyzer is a tool. When you run the custom code analyzer, you can identify how many of the reports are not compatible with SAP S4HANA because of table KONV. So that reports or that objects, very straightforward. You ask your technical consultant, okay, this is a list of technical objects. Wherever KONV is being used, take this document and make the changes accordingly. Okay, that is a very important thing to note. Now let me go back to my PPT. Yeah, maybe before going to PPT, let me talk about another thing. One more thing in simplified pricing. So in the access sequence today, if I talk about ECC, we use the access sequence in the pricing, right? So within the access sequence, we have number of accesses, which means number of combinations. So let's say, for example, if this is my access sequence A001, in this currently I have 4 accesses. Any idea what is the maximum number of accesses within the access sequence in ECC? How many lines I can add here? How many combinations I can add? Terry, I'm asking in ECC. Yes, it is 99. Saji, you want to answer something?
No, I thought it's 999. No.
Okay, so currently in ECC it is only 99.
Okay.
Okay, in current ECC system it is only 2 characters. Okay, which means the maximum number that you can write here is 99. Now I think most of you, anybody can give me any example where they used or where there is a need of more than 99? Normally not. If anybody has used, maybe you can share your experience. So normally 99 is more than sufficient. They are too much. Okay, but still there are some industries which failed that 99 is not sufficient, and they asked SAP to provide some solution because we have more than 99 combinations. Okay, so for them, not today, 10-15 years back, SAP has already released a note in which if you implement that note, automatically this field will be converted from 2 digits to 3 digits. Okay, which means you will be able to use 999 accesses. If there is a need, you just need to implement that SAP note. Okay, the solution was available, but only thing is it was not the part of the standard delivery. Now with SAP S4HANA, that note is already implemented as a pre-delivered object, which means any customer, if they want to use these accesses of more than 99, it is possible up to 999 characters, which means the field length has been extended from 2 to 3 characters. Okay, so that is pre-delivered, which means you don't need to apply any SAP note now. If you try this in ECC, it will not allow you to go beyond 2 digits. But now here you can see you can go up to 3 digits. So this is the second simplification when they're talking about simplified pricing. One is the table, which they converted from cluster to transparent, which is when you check the speed, that will be definitely 10 times faster compared to KONV, with some, as I told you, technical fields where they increase the size of the field length, plus this number of accesses within the access sequence, which was a requirement from some of the industries. Now they became, they made it as a part of the standard solution. Okay, same thing. Let me go back to PPT to see this. Okay, can you see this PPT now? Can you see?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so same thing, whatever we discussed. So business documents within the SAP Business Suite, such as sales order and purchase order, they used to store the pricing results in database table KONV. Now the content of KONV is transferred to PRCD_elements when you are moving to SAP S4HANA. Maximum number of accesses in the access sequence has been increased from 99 to 999. Therefore, the solution described in SAP pilot note. So this was a pilot note which was required in SAP ECC to activate this functionality. It is no more required. Okay, so this is about these two things. Now coming to the conversion thing, like for example, if we are implementing a new product, fine. When we are saying we are implementing SAP S4HANA for the first time, we don't need to worry because KONV was never used, and all the transactions that you do, they will directly go to PRCD_elements. But what about in case of conversion? When I already have the documents in KONV, how are they going to be migrated into PRCD_elements, or what exactly is going to happen? Is it like old documents will remain in KONV and new documents will come in PRCD_elements, or do I need to bring all my documents in KONV to PRCD_elements using LSMWs, BDCs and all? The answer is no, you don't need any kind of LSMWs or BDCs to load this in case of conversion, because SAP has provided a cockpit which we'll be understanding in complete detail during the conversion process. So that conversion cockpit will help you to move all the data from your current system to the new architecture, not only for this particular scenario, but whatever changes are there on the architecture level, that will be automatically taken care using the cockpit. There is nothing manually that you need to do. Everything is done by the programs or the cockpits which is provided by SAP. Okay, so same last point is any content from this solution will be automatically transferred to the standard tables during the upgrade process to SAP S4HANA. Foreign trade, I think you know. I'm just giving you the overview as of now. Once we are done with this PPT completion, we'll see these actual scenarios in SAP. So data model changes we can directly see, but when we are talking about the processes, we have to see in the system. Foreign trade functionality, we already discussed that in case of materials management and creation of material master. I told you that foreign trade management is a functionality which was available from years within MM and SD, but it has less number of features when it is compared to GTS, Global Trade Services. Okay, so now SAP has made it compulsory that if there are two different functionalities which are provided by SAP, or maybe two different components, if they are providing the same functionality, SAP is going to stick with one which has more number of features, and they are going to drop the other component which has fewer functions. So now when you compare this foreign trade and GTS, GTS is always a better component because it provides you more number of features. So they decided that drop off foreign trade functionality, which means in SAP S4HANA, this foreign trade management, it is only available for intra-state reporting. Apart from that, Nothing else can be used in foreign trade management. If you want extensive functionality of reporting the compliance of foreign trade, then you definitely need to implement GTS. Okay, same thing what we discussed during the it is true for SD also. All three slides are same. Coming to this very important thing, which is directly available in our system. GTS, when we are discussing, that is something which is not a new thing. GTS was already available from years. Only thing is now it is mandatory. But GTS is the external component, you know. But when it comes to credit management, this is something both the features or both the functionalities are available within the same core system. Okay, I'll tell you what. So let me just give you the background of the credit management functionality first, and then we'll talk about what has been changed from credit management point of view. So for those of you who are not from sales background, credit management is a very common topic, which is most of the customers, they always configure this functionality, credit management. And this is basically used to make sure that your customers, they are not exceeding their credit limit. Okay, so for example, if I am a company, I have 10 different customers. Now, based on my relation with these customers, because let's say if I'm dealing with this customer from last 10 years, I know each and every customer. This customer is good, he always pays on time. This customer is not good, always I need to call him again and again to get the payment. While some other customer is okay, sometimes he pays on time, sometimes he don't pay on time, but definitely maybe later he pays, he is not something which I need to call again and again. So based on that, I can divide my 10 customers into high risk customers. High risk means they are at very high risk level. So I should be very careful whenever I'm giving any credit to this customer. Second is medium risk. Okay, not a big deal. Sometimes it may happen, but otherwise they are all fine. And last one is low risk or no risk, which means they are always good. Like before due date, they will pay the amount. And based on this categorization, high risk, low risk, and medium risk, I can decide the credit limit. So low risk customer, good amount of credit. Let's say again, it is just an example. It is very less, 100,000 for 100,000 USD for good customers who are at low risk. 50,000 for the customers which are at medium risk, and for high risk customer only 10,000 is a credit limit which I can offer. Okay, so I will update this master data in the system. In the system, I'll in some of the transaction, I will go and I will enter that, okay, for this customer, this is a credit limit, for this customer, this is a credit limit, and finally, for this particular customer, this is a credit limit. Now, this is just updating the credit limit. What next? What next can credit management provide me? Once the credit limit is updated, based on the configuration, you can decide for high risk customers if the credit limit is already utilized. Let's say, for example, if for a high risk customer, the limit is only 10,000 USD, out of which already 8,000 has been utilized. And now he is placing another order of 5,000. So if I go ahead with this order, I will end up giving him 13,000 credit, which I don't want because he is at a high risk. I don't want to go beyond 10,000. So in that case, what I can decide, no, don't allow this transaction in system. So I'll configure the system in such a way that if it is more than 10,000, don't allow sales order to be created at all. For the medium risk customer, let's say the credit we decided that it is 50,000. Okay, now for 50,000, and let's say he has already utilized 48,000 and he's again asking for another 5,000. So it will go as 53,000. So I can say, okay, this customer is good. Maybe in the configuration, I'll say, okay, accept the orders. Okay, block the delivery maybe. You just block the delivery. So before delivering the material, we should get the amount. So at least we are accepting the order. From the high risk customer, we are not accepting the order because we'll ask them to pay first and then place the order. And for low risk, it can be no issues. Just continue to accept the orders, whatever he's giving. Don't worry about the credit limit. This kind of configurations can be performed. And every time when the sales order is created or the delivery document is created or a goods issue document is created, system will check if the credit limit is available, then only it will proceed. Otherwise, based on the nature of the transaction, it will either stop or it will block the delivery or it will continue as usual. So this is what is credit management functionality in SAP. And the problem in the sense why we are discussing this is currently SAP has two different components to support same business requirement. So I told you the business requirement. Now this business requirement can be configured in ST credit management, or the first one, FIAR credit management. You can call it as a SD credit management, whatever name you call, because it is from FI as well as SD point of view. So SD credit management is the most common credit management component which is being used by customers over the years. Okay, so even whatever number of guys are here, if I ask you from SD, how many of you are using the other component, which is FSCM credit management, I don't think anybody will say yes, because 90% of the customers use SD credit management. Now, sometime back, around 10 years back, SAP also introduced a new component called as FSCM credit management, which has more number of features compared to the normal SD credit management. Now, when we are saying more number of features, what more number of features? So I can give you one example. Currently, if I want, let's say a new customer is coming to me and I want to decide how much credit I should give to this customer. So in SD credit management, that is all manual. I need to do all these things offline. I need to get his background check. I need to get some references. I need to, maybe I'll go for credit ratings to see how this customer is paying to other suppliers. Based on that, I will decide whether I want to give the credit limit or not, and if I want to give, how much I can give. So this is all manual out of SAP, right? All these things, credit rating agencies, background checks, this you are performing completely outside SAP. Now, in case of a company where in the month, let's say 50, 100 customers are added, fine, they can do this manually. But consider the utilities company, let's say for example, telecommunication, these mobile companies, they keep on adding thousands of customers in a day. Okay, and it will become very difficult for them to go to this, to get this information on the daily basis, that is manually. So SAP has provided another feature in FSCM credit management is that you can create the RFC connections with the credit rating agencies automatically, which means you just need to, whenever you will add any new customer, this customer list will be created. It will be automatically sent to credit rating agencies. They will provide you the credit rating agencies that will come automatically in your SAP system. Not only that, based on the ratings what you got from the credit rating agencies, formulas will work automatically based on the configuration, obviously. So weightage will be given, formulas will be calculated, and finally system will automatically calculate how much credit limit should be given, and that will be automatically updated even in the customer master. This is just an example. Okay, so this is extra feature which is provided in FSCM credit management. Similarly, there are more number of features. One is centralized credit management. What is centralized credit management? So let's say you are using two different SAP systems, one for Europe, second for US. And there is one customer who is doing the business with you from US also and Europe also. So currently, if I use my normal SD credit management, my two components are totally independent. So I have to define a separate credit limit in US and separate credit limit in Europe. But as a group, my group has decided, instead of having a different credit limit for Europe and US, if I want to give a normal central credit limit to this customer, is it possible? It is not possible in SD credit management, but it is possible with FSCM credit management. So you can perform the centralized control by connecting two different SAP systems. Okay, obviously this is a definitely this is something advanced features of FSCM which are not normally used by many clients, but still, since the basic requirement of credit management is served in FSCM plus some advanced features, that is the reason SAP has decided to remove the normal SD credit management functionality completely. So now only FSCM credit management is available. So whatever transactions you were doing in ECC to update the credit master data of the customer, you were going to transaction FD32. Now if you try FD32, that will result in error. The error will be same, that this functionality is not supported. Go and update the master data using FSCM credit management. Okay, so the way in which you maintain the credit master data, complete change, the way in which you configure the credit management, it has been moved from SD to FSCM. The reports, the transactions, all are things from the credit management point of view are changed. So this is something which we are going to see completely in the system, end-to-end configuration, master data, transactions, everything I'll show you in the system. Influence on the processes, we'll understand when we'll be talking about the credit management practical session. Coming to the revenue recognition part, again, this is one component which is available within SAP sales and distribution. Now, what is revenue recognition? Revenue recognition means normally when you bill to your customer, we say we recognize the revenue. This is for revenue for us, right? If I sell something, that is revenue for me. So according to legal compliance, in some of the cases, when you create a billing document, it is not treated as revenue. I'll give you one example. If you are into construction business, you normally take advance from your customers when they book the apartments. Okay, let's say you are building the you are doing the construction of 10-floor building. Okay, and you will say, okay, 10% has to be 10% has to be billed after every completion of the floor. So for example, first floor is completed, 10% is due. Second floor is completed, 20% is due. Okay, so this is like you are creating the billing cycle in SAP, right? There is a billing cycle, billing plan you enter into SD. So based on that, your revenue will be booked, but that is actually not your revenue. If you talk from the compliance point of view, compliance says till the time you are not completely handing over the possession of an apartment to your customer, it is not your revenue. You will be only able to recognize the revenue once the transfer of ownership has been completed. Okay, so from the compliance point of view, revenue recognition is not only billing, it is something else based on nature of transaction. Take example of consulting company. When we go for any kind of implementation projects, like 10% when we start project, 40% when we complete the business blueprinting. So again, based on that, the revenue is recognized. So that is something which is normally available in SD. But now, I'm not saying there is new component available from SAP which was providing better solutions in SAP ECC. No. The legal requirement has completely changed. From IFRS point of view, IFRS 15 is in place, in which the way in which you recognize the revenue from the compliance point of view is completely changed, and your existing revenue recognition is not capable of handling those changes. Okay, so looking that into mind, SAP has came up with a completely new module or add-on called as Revenue Accounting and Reporting, SAP RAR. Okay, SAP RAR is a replacement for SAP Revenue Recognition. The SD Revenue Recognition functionality will not work in SAP S4HANA. If you want to perform the revenue recognition, it has to be via SAP Revenue Accounting and Reporting, which is a add-on. It is not directly available in SAP S4HANA. If you want, you need to purchase it separately and you need to install on top of your existing SAP S4HANA system. All right. So this revenue accounting and reporting is a very hot area, at least in US market, because most of the companies are going for IFRS. And instead of logistics consultant, it is more suitable to finance consultant, because when it comes to IFRS compliance, you need to have a financial background. So a lot of FICO consultants are now moving on to SAP RAR because it is a very hot area in, at least in the US market, and in coming years, because I think 2019 or somewhere in 18, most of the countries are going to follow this IFRS norms. Okay, so that is the thing. Revenue recognition, in short, is not available. So you can see in ECC, the revenue recognition was available somewhere here in the sales and distribution basic functions. And if you see the same note in SAP S4HANA, that has been completely removed. I think this is the last topic in terms of the theory. Then we'll take one topic and we discuss about that. Yeah, output determination now. I think you already know this. I'll just provide you some background, what we already discussed during the purchase order. So similar to purchase order, earlier in ECC, we were able to configure the output of the purchase order or the billing document using transaction NACE. So NACE was a transaction through which we were configuring the output. Now with SAP S4HANA, when 15.11 was launched, SAP has made it mandatory that you cannot use NACE for purchase orders. For billing, it was okay, but for purchase orders, you cannot use NACE, and you have to configure it via a new output determination, mandatorily. And as I told you, the new output determination, definitely it has some benefits going forward, but as of now, there are many limitations in terms of using that functionality. So not all the channels supported. Okay, Ad-hoc also is not very, it is still not completed. That is the reason customers requested SAP that, okay, we will use this new output determination in future when it is completely matured. Till that time, is it possible for us to switch back to NACE? And that is exactly what SAP has done in 1610. They came up with the option that by default, system will automatically pick the new output determination, but if you need, you can switch back to NACE. So from billing point of view, in 15.11, NACE was also available and new output determination was also available. Okay, but NACE was working, new output determination was just available for the test purpose. Test in the sense, it was like I told you in OPD, if you go today, it shows output, outbound delivery and all that things, but it is still under development. You cannot directly use that. Similarly, in 1610, there are some other objects like outbound delivery and all, which are highlighted there, but they are under the development. You cannot use them. In 1610, you can only use two outputs in new output determination, that is purchase order and billing document. Choice is with the customer whether they want to continue using the new output determination or they want to switch back to NACE. Okay, and before you go and configure OPD, I shown you, you need to upload some XML files. You means it will be done by your technical consultant, but this is the SAP note. If your technical consultant is not aware of this, how to do that, this is a very important SAP note which has a XML file or which has a zip file as a attachment, which consists of 3 XMLs. XML for purchase order, XML for outbound delivery, and XML for billing document. Okay, only after you upload this, then only you can go in OPD and perform the configuration. Otherwise, it will not allow. Same old config for the other objects. For example, sales order output, you can still use NACE. Okay, any questions till now before I go into the system and let's take some practical topics? Any questions? Yes, Terry, please go ahead. How to pass? Okay. As I told you, Terry, this is the advanced feature, how to pass customer info to credit companies. It is not a big deal. If you have the RFC connections set up in the system, that is via, like, whenever you create a customer, it will automatically trigger. Let's say at the end of the day, the file will be created and this file will be sent to one of the directory for credit rating agencies. They will pick the file from there, they will perform their analysis, they will again keep the file back into the directory, and again through RFC or whatever batch jobs, you can again bring that file into SAP directory and you can use it for the ratings. Okay, that is not a new thing. In SAP also this is very common, but the feature in this feature has been added in FSCM. Config, definitely there must be some config to perform these ratings, to write these formulas. But again, if you want that, you have to involve your FSCM consultant, because that is something which from the SD credit management point of view, we were not doing this. It is something which you need to involve the FSCM consultant if you want to do that. Will you discuss? No, Terry. Revenue recognition, as I told you, this revenue recognition is something is not available at all in SAP SD. It has, in SAP S4HANA, it has been moved to a separate component. So I've given you the background of RAR, but RAR is a separate module. Okay, so we, even in our server, I don't think we have RAR installed. Okay. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll start with the basic, because I don't think we have created any kind of sales order till now. Instead of starting from very basic, what we will do is when we are creating the sales order, we at the same time we can see the credit management also. So I think that will be the better approach. I'll show you what has been changed from credit management point of view, and then we create a sales order and all, and we'll see how the credit checks are being performed. Okay, so we'll start with the credit management functionality. I'll just remove this. Okay, so what is credit management configuration we were doing in ECC? We'll start from here so that it will be easy for us to understand what is new in configuration for S4. Anybody from SD who wants to tell what exactly, how you were starting, what was the first step, what was the second step? Is there anybody from SD here? Yes, Terry, please go ahead. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, let me see. First thing is, if you want to use the credit management functionality, you need to have a credit control area, which is a top node. Okay, without credit control area, you cannot use a credit management functionality. So define credit control area. Second thing was, definition is not enough, right? You need to assign credit control area to your company code. Right? So now, whenever you, let's say for example, you are into sales order. In sales order, you enter the sales organization. Sales organization is assigned to company code. Company code is assigned to credit control area. So from the transaction, system will identify which credit control area is required, or which credit control area to be checked for credit management. Then you were performing lot of SD configuration. So I'm not writing everything here. I will show you directly in the system. So SD config, which includes, I'll just highlight here. Let's say, for example, which order type, for which order type the credit should be performed. for which item category credit should be performed, and etc. So you were writing all these things. Fourth is automatic credit check. So you were configuring automatic credit check using transaction OVA8, automatic credit check config. Okay, so this is the configuration you were doing, and finally you were going to master data, credit master data of customer. So for this you were using transaction FT32. Simple, right? We'll keep it simple. So I'll show you all these things. First I'll open ECC in order for you to understand how the things were handled earlier and how they'll be handled in S4HANA. SPRO. Okay. So in SPRO, for creation of credit control area, we were going to enterprise structure. Okay, because it is the organizational element, so we need to go into enterprise structure. Definition, it was under financial accounting. So here you were creating the credit control area. Once this credit control area is created, you were going into assignment where you were assigning this credit control area to your company code. Okay, so here assign company code to credit control area. These two things you were doing from enterprise structure. Then the remaining things you were directly going into sales and distribution. So within sales and distribution, there is a separate folder available for credit management, which was available within basic functions. Okay, in the basic functions, you can see credit management, risk management. And here, 1, 2, 3, or maybe 1, 2, and this transaction. These were these different configurations we were doing. So some part we were doing here, some part we were doing here, and finally, we were, if required, the simple credit check. So in short, whatever configuration we were doing through this node within sales and distribution. Okay, and master data we were creating using transaction FT32. So this was a transaction which was used to create the credit master data of customer, where you were specifying whether this is a high risk customer, low risk customer, and the credit limit, how much limit we want to assign to this customer. Okay, now let me close this. Let me show you S4HANA. SPRO. Okay, so first thing, this is ECC. Let me copy for S4HANA and tell you what is changed. Okay, sorry, I copied already. Okay, so whether this thing is required or not, whether the credit control area is required or not, yes, it is required. Same, you need to go to enterprise structure, you need to create a credit control area. Second thing, whether the assignment is required or not, definitely it is required, right? If you are creating, we need to assign it to company code. This is also required. SD config is required. Yes, definitely this is required. Automatic credit check, this is also required. And credit master data, forget about FD32, whether this is required, yes, this is also required. So we need to do all these things here also. But only thing is, let us first complete these two activities in the same way. So I'll go to enterprise structure, definition, financial accounting, create credit control area, I'll create a new credit control area for us, which is SL11. I hope we are using INR. Okay. Now here in credit control area, this is exactly same. There is no change in the definition of credit control area, irrespective of you are doing in ECC or S4HANA. So update in SD. So this means that when you are checking whether the credit limit is available or not, so which documents you are considering? Are you considering only open orders, or you are considering the deliveries, or you are considering the invoices? So normally it should be all: order, delivery, as well as billing. That is the reason we normally select this 12, which includes open orders, deliveries, and billing documents. Fiscal year variant should be same as your company code. Okay, these are default things if you want to specify. So irrespective of the customer, by default, if you want any new customer with the default category medium risk, credit limit 10,000 USD, and representative group, you can specify. Otherwise, keep this blank because we'll be entering this directly in the customer master. So we created a credit control area. Next thing is we need to assign credit control area to our company code. So go to assign. SL11 will be assigned to credit control area SL11. Save it. Okay, so two things are done in the same way without any change. Now come to SD config. For SD config, we went to sales and distribution, basic settings, credit management, risk management. Now see here, there is no configuration node available for credit management. It is only one document available. There is nothing, you cannot do anything here. If you read this document, what it is saying, it is saying if you want to use credit management, you must be aware that it works solely with credit management of FSCM. Okay, so for more information, you can go to this SPRO path, which means whatever configurations you are doing from SD, since this is not supported, you need to go only in FSCM credit management. That is the only option available. So go to financial supply chain management. There is a credit management component here. In credit management, we need to go to credit risk monitoring. Now, as I told you, this is something which is has far more features, many new features compared to the existing SD credit management. So as I told you, you can perform centralized credit management. You can get the information from the credit rating agencies through RFC. These are some examples. There are a lot of new features which are available in credit management. So if you want to use all that advanced features, definitely you need to involve your FSCM consultant. He must be already aware because this is not new, as I told you. This is something which was available in ECC also, but 90% of the customers were not using this. They were using normal SD credit management. So if you want to only configure what you were already using, then no need to involve FSCM consultant. I can show you how to configure that. On the other hand, if you think that customer requires the advanced features, then definitely you need to involve because there are a lot of connections. The functionality you need to understand what exactly the centralized and which companies need to be consolidated and all. So that is something which takes the expertise of FSCM. Okay, so don't worry about all these things. We'll only concentrate on whatever we were configuring in ECC, how we can configure in the same way here. So only one major difference here is in ECC, the top node was credit control area. Okay, you were defining the customer credit. If I shown you every 32, when you were creating the customer credit master, there in every 32, whatever credit limit you were specifying, that was valid for that credit control area. But now let me first show you, if I try FD 32 here to update the master data of the customer, if I go to FD32, this is also resulting in error. This is also saying the same thing. There is a new function available, so this is not going to work. So what should I do? I'll close this. I'll update my credit master data of the customer with new transaction, and that new transaction is UKM underscore BP, or you can directly write BP. It is going to take you to the same screen. So this is a business partner screen. We are already aware of this screen, where exactly we can maintain the credit history of the customer, credit details of the customer. So let me open a customer first, for which we want to maintain the credit limit, SL11. Let's say this is my customer number 88, start. Okay, for this customer, if I want to update credit details, first of all, let me see if this customer is created in sales area. It is not created, it is only created in FI area. So let me just create this customer first in sales area. How am I going to do that? I need to add a new role. Which is that role? FLCU 01. Okay, which will open this sales and distribution tab. I can enter here which sales organization, under which sales organization I want to create this customer. Mandatory fields. Try to say this. Okay, so customer has been created in the sales area also now. Now, where exactly I can update credit management data? Where can I enter the credit limit? I cannot see anything here. Okay, so for that, there is a separate role. So you need to go into role UKM000. UKM000, which is SAP Credit Management. Come into this role, click on credit segment data, and here you can see you are able to update the limit, but at what level? It is not showing me credit control area. It is showing me credit segment. Okay, so this means that this is not sufficient. On top of credit control area, I also need a credit segment, and that will be on top of credit control area. So one or more company codes can be assigned to one credit control area. One or more credit control areas can be assigned to one credit segment. Okay, so the top node in ECC was credit control area. Here the top node is credit segment, then credit control area, then company code. Okay, so because I am only able to create my credit master data of the customer at credit segment level, I first need to create a credit segment. So I'll do it from here. Create a credit segment. New for SL11. This is my credit segment for SL11. Currency I'll keep same, which is INR, and exchange rate type is M. Okay, let's save. Okay, now credit segment is created, but again, it has to be assigned to credit control area. So then I'll go to this integration within sales and distribution. Forget about this. This is misguiding. Define credit segment is available here also and here also, but this is not working. So you need to create a credit segment in credit risk monitoring. Then for assignment, you come here, assign credit control area and credit segment. So here your credit control area is SL11, which has to be assigned to credit control area, sorry, credit segment, which is SL11. Okay. Now we are done with the enterprise structure. We are still not configured this SD things, order type, item category, and all. This also we need to do. All these three things we are still need to complete before we proceed. Okay. So additionally, we created. So this was actually okay. Forget about the numbers. The first thing which we need to do here is define credit segment because it comes on top of credit control area, and we need to assign, or maybe after creation of credit control area, we need to assign credit control area to credit segment. So first you create a credit segment, then you create a credit control area, then you assign credit control area to credit segment, and then you follow the normal process, assign the credit control area to company code. Next is this SD config. So whatever configurations we were doing in SD, now they have to be handled in FSCM. So these are the configurations. So for item category, you can go here. For materials with normally standard item is 10. It all depends upon what different item categories you are using. So for 10, you can see credit management is active. Okay, this is at the client level, irrespective of which credit control area. For item category 10, this credit management is active. Second is for order types. So assign sales document and delivery documents. Here for different order types, you can specify whether credit management is active or not. So for sales document type OR, you can see it is active, and this is again same thing which was available in ECC under SD. Now it is available within FSCM. So when you activate credit limit check for a particular sales order type, you get this option even in ECC also. Anybody from SD who can tell me what is the difference in all these four? So first is clear. If you don't want to activate, fine. If you want to activate, these are the four options. What are these four options? What will happen if I select A? What will happen if I select B, C? Okay, it is self-explanatory. Okay, but any further answer, like what is the, okay, forget about what is the difference between simple credit check and automatic credit check. So first three are simple credit check. This will issue the warning message, this will issue the error message, and this will block the order for delivery. But what about this automatic?
Yeah, so Gaurav, there is a, for the automatic one, basically we have a different credit checks, different, points that will be running through when we select a dynamic, the D1 automatic credit control. So whether it has to be going through the Dunning group, and whether it has to be going to different, whether it is a validity extension, whether it is, there's a different groups are there. So based on that, it will go a further level of depth of credit, checking a credit limit of the customer for
Yes.
the
So,
D1.
yes, instead of only focusing on the credit limit, it will definitely focus on credit limit also, but there are a lot of other checks which it will perform if we activate this automatic credit check, right?
That's
Okay.
right.
Yeah. Now my question is, can I use automatic credit check and I configure automatic credit check in such a way that it works as A? So I don't want any other check. I just want a credit limit check and issue the warning message. Can I do that by using D? I'm not using A. I can use D and configure in exactly same way as A. Is it possible?
Yes, it is possible, because basically you will, based on the configurations here, whether the credit group and credit limit, just give a simple warning message so that it will block in what stage it has to be get blocked, whether it is at order level, delivery level, PGI level, that has to be blocked, so we can check this over here.
Exactly. So which means is if I use D, which is for automatic credit check, if I have 10 different checks, for example, if it is performing 10 checks, I will configure in such a way I want only one check, only a simple check, and issue the warning message. So it will behave exactly same as A. So which means using D, I can actually configure all these things, A, B, C, and if I'm not using at all, definitely this. Okay, so if I use D, I don't need A, B, and C. Even if I want the behavior of the system like B and C or A, I can do that. That is the reason. Now, if I select A here, see the message. In ECC, A, B, C, D all were supported. In SAP S4HANA, A, B, and C are not supported. Why? There is no reason. You can do D here and you can configure if you want A, B, or C inside. Okay, so that is one of the change here in SAP S4 or in FSCM credit management. So in FSCM credit management, there are only two options, although it is showing you all this list, but only two are available. One is no credit and second is credit management active and automatic credit. So automatic credit check is the only available option in FSCM credit management. Okay, and as you said, when you say automatic credit check, you need to specify at what level. So, okay, credit check will be executed, but at what level, whether at the time of sales order or at the time of delivery or at the time of goods issue, that you can define here. So let's keep it as at the time of sales order. So which means for document type OR, system will perform the check, which will be automatic credit check. And based on whatever configuration we have done in automatic credit check, system will perform the check at the sales order level. Okay, so for OR, it is already active. For delivery, there is no change, so there is no point in talking about that. Then before I talk about automatic credit control, because we will need risk categories. So as I told you, if let's say for example, I'll just create one risk category, which is risk category A. Credit control area is SL11, and this is, let's say, medium risk category. Okay, so this means the customers which are at medium risk, I'll assign this risk category as A in the master. Okay, and accordingly, I will ask the system to behave. Where exactly I'll ask the system to behave? In automatic credit control. So now in automatic credit control, I can tell the system that, okay, at the time of sales order, if the risk class of the customer is medium risk, I can specify whether I want the credit management to be active or not. If it is active, what should be the behavior? There should be the error message, or there should be the warning message, or there should be the delivery block. Okay, so all these three things can be done. I'll just click a new entry. So for credit control area SL13, for risk class customers having the risk class as A for medium risk customers, at what time? At the time of sales order. Okay, so I'll just write here sales order medium risk. Okay, and here, yes, SAP credit management is active, and what should be the reaction? Again, it is self-explanatory. So system will issue a warning message, or it will issue an error message, or it will behave like A, it will issue the warning message, but it will also tell you by how much amount the credit limit has been exceeded. So these two are better. So if, let's say I want a warning message, I'll double click here and click on save. Sorry, it is SL11, right? Yeah, save. Okay, so now credit management is active for credit control area SL11 for this customers with risk class A and credit group. That means it will be checked at the time of creation of sales order. Okay, now we are done with the configuration. Now let's go back and try to add the credit master data of this customer. So in the credit segment, let's see if it is already showing us SL11 or not. No, it is not. Maybe I need to come back because we created afterwards. So BP is fine, or you can use UKM underscore BP. Official transaction is UKM underscore BP, but it is going to take to the same screen. Okay, so I'm in the change. I'll go to UKM 000. Credit segment data you can see here. Before that, in the credit profile, you can specify risk class, which is A. Okay, I'll talk about this, why the description is different. This is a risk category which we defined at medium risk. So I mean this customer is at medium risk. Then I'll go to credit segment data. I'll say limit defined and sorry, credit segment I need to specify, which is SL11. Okay, and I'll say limit is, let's say 10,000 INR. Okay, I can block, I can specify the block reason, I can specify the date. Okay, this 10,000 is only available for this year. After this year, will not allow any order that we can specify here, but normally not. Normally we just specify this amount. Okay, so just click on save. Area general data contains error. Let's see what is the problem. There is something missing. General data, credit profile. I don't know, I have not changed anything. There was some problem. I just came here and it is working. Okay, so now we have a customer which is having the credit limit of 10,000. Now we configured the system in such a way that whenever a sales order will be created, system will go and check if the credit is available or not. If it is not available, as of now, system will provide warning message because we configured that. So now let's try to create a sales order and see if we are getting the error or not. Okay, before that, why this risk class is different? So the reason is there is again one confusion here in SPRO, but I'll tell you how to configure this thing. So for normal SD credit management, we were only considering the risk category, not a risk class. But in FSCM, in the master data, it is available as a risk class. Okay, so where you can configure the risk class, you need to configure the risk class in this credit risk monitoring. Master data, I think, yes, create risk classes. Okay, so whatever risk categories you are creating in the further node that we have seen, same risk category with same code, it must be available here also. Currently what is happening, we created A, but we said medium risk, but here you can see it is available as a no default risk. That is the reason we are getting this description change. But normally when you are working in the actual system, please make sure that this is exactly same as what you configure there, because we are not bothered about this scores. As I told you, this is something which is advanced features of risk class. Okay, because we are not directly getting risk category here, that is the reason we are using this screen, but we are not bothered about all this scores. Okay, now let me show you a complete scenario. So I'll go to VA01, create an order for sales organization SL11, distribution channel S3, division again S3, which is a customer. It is 88, I think. Okay, let me try to find out here itself. For SL11, 88, this is the customer that we extended now. Another important thing, can you find the difference here? Customer reference and customer reference date. Is there anything different here compared to ECC?
Purchase order instead of purchase order number and date.
Yes, it was PO number and PO date. Now it has been, the text is replaced with customer reference and customer reference date. Otherwise, the feature is same. So you can still enter the purchase order number and purchase date, or whatever is the reference, whatever customer has given you, according to that, you can specify here. Okay, so let's say this is my test. Date is not mandatory. I'll just enter the mandatory information, payment term. All other things are same in the sales order. Material, I'll just enter star SL11 star. Quantity, let's keep it as 10. Okay, mandatory pricing is missing, condition is missing, so I'll go with manual updation PR00. And because I want this order to go beyond 10,000, 10 quantity, which means it should be 1200. So the order value will be 12,000. Okay, let's try to save now. Incomplete. Incoterms. Plant is SL11. Storage location again SL11, and shipping location again SL11. I hope you created this. No, we need to configure this first thing. SPRO, very normal, right? You were doing this in ECC also. So if you find it something which you think that you are not able to understand, please tell me. This is nothing new. Same thing what you were doing. Assign shipping points. So for okay, let me just copy this maybe. SL11 and SL11. So I'm just specifying that if this is a loading group for plant SL11, shipping point should be allowed as SL11. Let's see now. Oh, loading group is blank. So let me create another one with blank loading group. Okay. Let's go to next, gross weight and net weight. So let's say 1 and 1. Okay, now order is complete. Let's try to save this now. See, this is what we were expecting, right? So system is throwing the message that system has performed the credit management check for credit segment SL11 and business partner 70102. Total credit limit is only 10,000. The value of the order is 12,000. So it is exceeded by 2,000 INR. Okay, but how to know whether it is a warning message or error message? So in warning message, in error message, it will show you here in the bracket cannot save. Okay, here it is saying failed, but if you continue, if you click here, it will generate the standard order, which means it was just a warning message. It has not stopped you. Okay, on the other hand, if I go back now, okay, let me first show you. In BP, which fields are updated? See here. So this was a limit out of which already 12,000 has been used. So 120% utilization is already completed. Now if I go to same automatic credit check configuration again, OVA8, okay, and I specify here that, oh, I don't want warning. Actually, this should be error message, and save it. Now next time, if I try to create a sales order, instead of creating, I'll just copy VS01. Okay, create with reference. I'll go to order, and there is only one order for SL11.
So I'll copy this. Okay, you are getting the same message, but in the bracket it is saying unable to save. If you try to save, let me complete this first. See the message. So it is not allowing you to save the order. Okay, so based on the customer, whether it is at high risk, medium risk, low risk, you decide whether you want to allow the customer to create a sales order, whether you want to perform the delivery block. Exactly same thing. So whatever you were doing in ECC, same thing. You can block the delivery, you can do the warning message, or you can do the error message. Only thing is, whatever configuration you are doing now, that has to be done via FSCM, and you need to create a credit segment, because master data also you need to create from UKM_BP. FD32 is no more available. Okay, and for the reports, if you want to see the reports, again, your normal reports are not going to work. If you go in sales and distribution and perform that credit management reports, it is not going to work, because there is no that architecture available. FD32 is not at all available. How the system will find that what is the limit? So for that also, for reporting also, now you have to go into FSCM only. Financial supply chain management, credit management. This list displays, let's say, credit limit utilization, for example. So this will give you the required reports. Only thing is, whatever reports you get in FSCM, you will get by partner number. You will not get by customer number. So there might be the requirement that customer is requesting you to add maybe some Z report in which they want the customer against a particular partner. And that is the reason I told you earlier when we discussed business partner, it is always a better idea, or it is always a recommended approach, that you follow same numbers for your customers and business partners wherever possible. Okay. Any question on credit management? I just want to show you one another functionality of SAP S4, which is mainly for sales and distribution. Okay, so all these transactions, whatever we are done, maintain business partner, create sales order, maybe even if you process this order to complete the delivery also, that all we can, maybe we'll do tomorrow, because not tomorrow, next session, because we need to understand the billing document output determination also. I'll just take another 5-10 minutes just to explain you the new topic, which is sales order fulfillment cockpit. Okay, so what is sales order fulfillment cockpit? This is a main key innovator in SAP S4HANA so let me give you the background. If you are a sales manager, okay, and you are responsible to make sure that whatever sales orders are available, make sure that they are delivered on time. Okay, whatever you committed, wherever you committed, they are delivered on time. Let's say, for example, today was a delivery date of a particular customer, or let's say yesterday was a delivery date for a particular customer, and you got a call today. I was expecting the delivery yesterday, but I have still not received that material. So what you will do, you will go into different screens in SAP. You will go to, okay, which is the sales order number. Again, you will take that sales order number, go to, or maybe you will go to document flow. Simple. If you don't want to go into different screens, you will open the sales order, you will go into document flow, and you find out what is the status of that sales order. And then you realized, oh, this was stuck in error. Maybe delivery block was there. That is the reason the delivery is not done. Okay, so what you need to do in order to find that issue, you will be able to know only when this issue has been highlighted. Okay, but now with SAP sales order fulfillment cockpit, SAP has provided the different apps which are also called as KPI indicators, which will, when you log in into SAP Fiori screen, they will show you this information that this much orders are under issues. Okay, so for example, let me open that. So there is a group called as sales order processing. sales order processing. See, these are all KPIs. So there are 147 orders which are open. Okay, you can do whatever you want. For example, I'll go to manage sales order. There are 147 orders. Now, according to my rights, I have 147 orders. It may happen that some of the user is only having 15 orders out of this 147 because he is only responsible for one sales organization. Okay, so these are the different criteria which are provided. If you don't know, you can just enter this is called the fuzzy search. So even though plant is not available, sales organization is not available, I'll just enter SL13 here and click on go. This is a fuzzy search. It will check this SL13 everywhere in the system. Okay, so it is showing me there are, or maybe I'll go with SL11. So it is showing me there is only one order. This is the order that we just created, right? It is showing there is only one order which is having the status open. Now, due to some reason, I open this and I say, oh, delivery, make it delivery block. Before that, let me just go to home page to show you. Currently, there are 168 orders in issues. There are some issues. They are blocked for something. Okay, just remember this 168. I'm going back to 147. Manage sales orders. I'll write a fuzzy search here. I'll just write SL13. System will check all the different things and it will tell me, okay, these are the orders which something called SL13, maybe sales organization, maybe sold party, or SL11. So I just clicked here and let's say I'm saying set delivery block. Okay, due to some reason, it is not something that I want to do. It is something due to some reason we decided that I want to block this order for delivery or block the billing, whatever you want. Say delivery block. What is the reason? I'll just say the reason is anything. Okay, let's take this first one. Okay. So data has been saved. Now if I go back, this should have been updated. I think this is only getting updated when you refresh. Normally not. Maybe some issue in this Fiori screen. But normally if you're working in the real-time system, you will find as soon as you do it, it is updated automatically. Or if not, that has to be done. Maybe that is something which they need to consider if it is not already done in the live system also. So sales order processing, it has been increased to 170. I don't know. I just created one. I think someone else also added something. So now there are 170 orders in issues. So when the sales manager will log in into this screen, he can see, okay, this much number of orders are in issue. So instead of waiting for the call and then answering the question, this is a preventive kind of mechanism where he can see what are the different problems so that they can be easily sorted out. So he'll open 170. He'll get the screen where he's getting the complete details. Okay, out of 170 orders, 130 orders are stuck in order level, 2 are stuck in supply level, 16 are stuck in delivery level, and finally 14 are stuck in invoice level. Okay, the days also, like from how many days when this was supported to be delivered. So this was supported to be delivered 233 days earlier, okay, which is not delivered till now. Okay, so maybe this is not a normal scenario. He'll be able to see 1, 2, 3, maybe not more than that. So now if I want to see all the orders which are stuck in at the order level. Okay, and again I'll do the fuzzy search here, SL11. Okay, so it is showing this order number, see 0 days because it is scheduled to be delivered today itself. Okay, so this is stuck. What is the reason? It is saying delivery block. So if I click this, it will open these options. See down. Okay, it is not opening all the options. It is just opening because system knows that this is what is the error in this issue. What is the error or what is causing this order to come into the issue. Okay, so it is delivery block. So remove delivery block or reject sales order, whatever decision you are taking. Remove delivery block. If you want to see the complete process flow, what has happened to this order till now, you can click here also. So remove delivery block and you can see delivery block moved from sales order 154. Now again, if you go back, yeah, it is updated automatically. I don't know why it was not updated earlier. So 169. Okay, same thing. All these issues, if I want to know some other filters, like for example, customer wise, sales order fulfillment, analyze issues customer wise. So total same 169 issues. Out of this 169, you can see it is showing customer wise, which customer is having most number of issues. So this is like a graph. Just 1 minute, let it open, then I can show you the figures also. So this is the analytics that we were talking about yesterday. I told you yesterday that earlier this kind of bar charts and pie charts, they were not available directly in the same system. If you want this kind of diagrams or this type of graphs, it was only available when you move the data from ECC to BW and then perform this reporting in BI, and that were not real time. And even if you are getting the data in, let's say, not much older, let's say every 1 year if you are moving, then too, if you identified this order is blocked, you need to go into the transaction to unblock the order. Now in the same cockpit, it is allowing to do multiple things. From the same screen itself, you can decide what to do. Just 1 minute, let me see why it is taking time. Yeah, now it is open. So you can see this is the graph. If I want the actual figures, I'll click on this numerics. So it is saying these are the different customers with different orders open. So for this sold to party, there are 3 orders which are open. For this sold to party, this 30 orders are open. If you want to convert it into Excel, in one press of button, it will be converted into Excel. Just click here. It will generate the Excel file. See. Okay. If you want it by some other filter criteria, so instead of customer, I want to see top 12 sales organizations having more number of issues. So you can see most of the orders are in issues from SL01 sales organization. So these are the top 10 sales organization which is having issues. Okay, so you can have different kind of this ones here, characters, and you can also request new ones. So for example, if you are a user today, you are able to see customer and sales organization. If you want to add some new criteria here, that is also possible, but you need to involve your Fiori consultant to work with you. Okay, so these are all configurable. You can configure your own KPIs. These KPIs are pre-delivered with SAP. So wherever you want, you can make the use of them. You can create your own apps. Again, when I'm saying own apps, it is not something you drag and drop yourself. You definitely need the help of Fiori as well as a BI consultant to make this possible. So sales order fulfillment issues in the next 7 days. This is very critical. So for next 7 days, if I want to make sure that everything what needs to be delivered in next 7 days, what are the issues? So you'll get the total issues here. This is incompleteness. So if one of the order is in incomplete status, let me open this. 18 orders are in status incomplete. Okay, so why this order is incomplete? Because of this reason. So for example, I want to complete this order. I'll select this resolve incomplete data. It will take me to the normal screen, which tells us why it is incomplete. So this is waiting for this thing. If I enter this, this will move and it will show only 17 remaining. Okay, so this is called a sales order fulfillment cockpit. SAP has delivered predefined apps, predefined KPIs, which can be used. On top of that, it is also providing you the option that if you want to add your own KPIs, that is very much possible. So during the implementation, you need to discuss with the customer like what exactly analytics you want to see, so that you make it possible in Fiori. Okay, any questions?
Sandeep here, Gaurav. Gaurav, actually, when we create the customer, right? So basically, how to know that which role is for particular. For example, you have showed today for the credit, extending the customer to the different sales area, right? So do we have these roles anywhere in the SRD1?
No, these are only 3 roles. See, normal. See, when we created a customer, if we are creating at company code level, it is FLCU00, right? We already discussed. If you want to extend this customer to sales area, it is FLCU01. And finally, if you want this customer also to be available in credit management, then it is UKM000. Yeah, it must be available in S4 SD1 also, but these are the only 3. You don't need to remember any other roles.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Gaurav, this is Saji.
Yes.
I have a general question. Are you using any distribution list for sending the documents or anything? I'm not. I joined a little late after one class, so are you using something like that? I'm not getting any documents which are shared by the group. Is it something like that? Others are getting it?
That actually this is taken care by Krishna. So I'll just speak to Krishna. I'll ask him what documents, because see, we keep on, I don't have any list created, but I keep on sending the documents which I find useful. Let's share this with all the guys. So he just upload that in the portal which he has given to you for videos. So normally all the documentations he uploaded there. So every now and then, I think at least in every 15 days, maybe 1 month, I keep on whatever documents I find useful, I ask him to upload that in the portal so that everybody can use it.
Are others getting it? Can somebody in the group answer that?
Yeah, all others, do you have this certification documents and other documents already received or not? Yeah, it's in the Google
Gaurav,
Drive.
we got few of them, yes. We got a few of them, but for example, pricing cockpit, something like you have told us today, right? So which I think it does not have in the list of the one which Krishna shared.
Okay, but certification documents, PR1, ST1, MA1, you already got it, right?
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
So what about Saji? You got it or not?
No, none of them I got. That's the one. That's the reason I was telling. Maybe if you can share Krishna's email, or if you can tell him to include me.
So whom you are coordinating with, Saji? Are you coordinating with
Neha.
Sanna or?
Neha, right?
Neha. Okay. Just drop a mail to Neha. That is also fine because they are working together.
Yeah, I did that and I copied you, Neha. I didn't get any reply from her. Usually I get 3
Okay. Okay. I'll take care of that. If you already dropped the mail, I'll just speak to them.
Okay, I had copied you in the email. So
okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Pricing cookbook, I'll ask Krishna if he has not uploaded already. I'll ask him to do that today.
Yeah, that helps. Thank you.
Okay, so let's close today. Tomorrow we'll continue with this sales order. We'll process for delivery, billing, and I'll tell you whatever are the changes. The one change obviously is the output determination, and we'll see if there is something else. We'll complete in the next session. Not tomorrow, sorry, in the next session. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.